Tuesday. School is back in session, and we are working through what we assigned to you yesterday as far as using apostrophes, page 143. So make sure you have 143 out. We'll go ahead and give you answers that you have. I'll probably ask some of you for some of the answers that you have on those pages. And for those of you that were not here yesterday, I think Ella and whoever the other person was, that I think Tejas, right? You'll need to send me those pages that we took grades on, which was 140 and 142, so that I can get those grades and enter it into the book. For those of you that didn't hear, we are for the math test. If you haven't taken it yet, you'll need to take it today. But for that math test, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you send me a picture of it when you're done, the answer sheet. And I will, what I will do is I will basically grade it or tell you which ones are wrong. Then you can put an X, or if they're half off, I'll tell you which ones are half off too. Then you'll have a grade. But now you're going to be able to correct it while we're doing this long or distance learning thing here. You'll be able to correct it so that you can have an opportunity to get some points back on your test as well. So take that test and do well. Yes, ma'am, Angelica.
I didn't do Think B.
Didn't do Think B? Why?
I didn't have time.
Okay, and I understand, and that's fine for right now. Just fill it in right now, but you guys really have to get your work done. So make sure you try to get it done. Look, you've got all day to do work, and I realized yesterday I didn't put the videos up till later because I put them in the wrong place, and so I'll let it go for this time. But please make sure, especially for math and language, because those are the ones that we're doing online together, make sure you have those done from now on. All right, so here we go. So for number one, well, Angelica, I'll let you tell me, where does an apostrophe go there on Think A?
After for you you have in the middle of U and R.
There is no R in there. Oh, between on your, no, that's not where it goes. Elijah, do you know?
After tails.
Well, there's only a tail. There's no, you don't add an S. All you're doing is put an apostrophe in there somewhere. Go. Can you figure it out?
Yeah.
Yes, no? Okay, how about, you got it or no? Oh, okay. Tejas, what about you? Where would the apostrophe go on number one on Think A?
I didn't do 143.
How come?
I didn't see it on the thing.
No, it wasn't. But if you had watched, did you watch the video after the interactive video that was posted online afterward?
No.
Eric, you don't need to be here right now.
Oh, no.
Hi, Ella.
Sorry.
What?
That's right. We'll see you at 1. It's not a problem. So Tejas, you got to make sure that if you didn't get to see the video in the morning, that you watch the one that's posted on my YouTube channel so that you can make sure you're up with everything. All right, let's move over to Elizabeth then. Elizabeth, what about you? For number 1. Okay, you got to speak up, Elizabeth.
At the end of.
Okay, where exactly, though? You got to give me a specific. Between what? I couldn't hear what you said. Somebody in the background, a brother or sister, is yelling. Elizabeth, I can't understand you. You got to speak up, Elizabeth. Can't hear you. It's hard enough in classroom. You did it, right? Show me your book. Let's see what you have in your book. Okay, all I can see is your face right now. The camera is the little dot in the middle.
At the end of
Between the Y and the S, is that what you said? Or the end and the S?
INS.
All right. David, what about you?
Between the Y and the S.
Yeah, between the Y and the S is where it goes, because you're talking about put a tail on your Y's. You know, when you're writing, they're talking about when you're writing penmanship. The tail is that bottom part that goes in at the bottom of the Y, and so they're saying make sure you put your tail on it, and that means to curl it at the end. Curl it at the end. All right. So, so for number 2, then Nathan, what do you have there?
It goes in between the 2 S's.
Correct, between the 2 S's. And so they're basically what they're doing is you had that rule back over on page number 141. So remember that if you're not sure of how to do something or you're not sure what's going on, just go ahead and check the. Hold on. Hello. Yes, Yuri. Hello. Hello. Speak. Hi.
No one will speak.
I don't know because I've tried getting you guys in, and I have no idea how to get you on. When somebody else joined, I just had them join the call to meet them, but I don't know how to get. I added you to the contact list for the group for the 5th and 6th grade class. So is your did you have Skype on? Oh, well, you've got to turn Skype on. You already signed in under your mom, right? Yeah, try. Well, no, I mean, I'm saying you got to turn Skype on. You got to turn it on, and then you've got to sign in under your mom's name, and then you should be able to see join meeting. In other words, for 5th and 6th class. Okay, so try that and see. All right, we'll continue on then. All right, for number 3. You should have an apostrophe between the S's, between the T and the I's. We're talking about number 3. 4 I's, I apostrophe S, 2 P's, P apostrophe S, and 1 M. And so those 3 things, the S's, the I's, and the P's. So that's where the apostrophe goes there. All right, so when you're doing letters or numbers like that, that's what you use, an apostrophe and then an S. All right, so I'll read the other ones for you. So this is what you should have in number 1. The example that they gave you was a perfect example of how to do this. So it says the collar of the dog, and that means the dog's collar, D-O-G apostrophe S, the dog's collar. So you're making it into possessive that way by doing that. All right, and then on number 2, the toys of twins is the twins toys. That's T-W-I-N-S apostrophe. Now remember, it's plural, so it's N-S apostrophe because it's not apostrophe S at the end. It's just S apostrophe because you're talking about more than one twin. All right. So you're talking about more than one twin, and that is what's there. Still looking for Yuri to join. Let me see if I can get. All right, hopefully they'll be able to come in. But all right, so and then on number 4, it's the student's paper. That's with a T apostrophe S at the end there. Number sorry, that was number 3. Sorry, number 4 is the teacher's meeting. Now it talked about the meeting of the teachers. That means there's more than one teacher there, so it's plural. So it's the teacher for all the, the meeting for all the teachers. So it's T-E-A-C-H-E-R-S apostrophe. Okay, and then on number 5, yes, who's talking?
Sophia.
Okay, yes, Sophia.
For the teachers, do you put a apostrophe after S or before S?
Yeah, it was after. I was spelling it for you. It's after the S. So because it's more than one teacher, so you're talking about the plural is teachers with an S, and then because it's plural and you're using it as possessive, then you just add an apostrophe at the end. All right. Number 5, the committee's report. It's COMMITTEE apostrophe S because it's one committee, and so it's apostrophe S because it's singular. Number 6, the women's purses. Now this is more than one woman, but it doesn't end in an S, so it's going to add an apostrophe S after women. So WOMEN apostrophe S. Then on number 7, the policeman's whistle, and it's one policeman because it's not MEN, it's MAN. So it's the policeman's whistle, and so it's policeman apostrophe S. Again, appointment with the doctor, one doctor. So you're going to add apostrophe S to doctor, the doctor's appointment. Number 9, the clowns is now there's more than one clown. So let's see if I can pick on somebody here. Ella, you got to turn your mic on if you're going to, if we're going to hear you. But if you could, Ella, do number 9.
For clowns, you
Hey, you guys speak up a little bit. It's hard to hear you.
for clowns, put the apostrophe before the S.
Okay, how many clowns are there? Is there more one or more than one?
More than one.
Yeah, so more than one means it's going to end in an S first, then an apostrophe, because you got to make it plural first, CLOWNS, and then add an apostrophe after that. So it's all the clowns is expression, is the idea of what you're saying there. And then, Alina, how about number 10? What do you think? Okay, spell it for me.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat's part.
C-A-T.
Very good. C-A-T apostrophe S. And so that's the cat's grin. Okay, so on number 1, on right C, it should be brother apostrophe S. Brother apostrophe S. Then number 2, sisters, S-I-S-T-E-R-S apostrophe, because there's more than one sister. You see that's Kay and Kelly. There are 2 of them, so that means it's plural first, it's sisters. And they give you that at the end anyway. Now, Phyllis, capital P-H-Y-L-L-I-S apostrophe S, because it's one person. Phyllis is the name of one person. So it's always apostrophe S when it's singular. Always apostrophe S. Number 4, B-O-Y-S apostrophe, because you're talking about a plural of boys. Number 5, Charles's, and we had that yesterday. So it's C-H, capital C-H-A-R-L-E-S apostrophe S. And then doctors, again, there's more than one doctor, and so it's D-O-C-T-O-R-S apostrophe. Number 7, M-E-N apostrophe S. Number 8, P-E-O-P-L-E apostrophe S. Number 9, capital L-E-W-I-S apostrophe S. Again, it's a singular person. That's the name of somebody. And then, again, Minutemen. Men, M-E-N, gives it away right there that it's plural. And so capital M-I-N-U-T-E-M-E-N apostrophe S. And so that is that one. Any questions on that page at all? All right. All right. So go over to 144.
Mr. Jones, I have a question.
Okay. Is that you, Sophia?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Why does, on number 7, why do you have to put an apostrophe S for men's?
For number 7, that's not men's. Oh, and the second part, yeah. Because men already is a plural. And because it's a plural, but it doesn't end in S, anytime you have a plural, it doesn't end in S, it's still apostrophe S. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the plural of man is not men's, it's just men. And so because it doesn't end in an S, then you have to add an apostrophe S for that. Okay, good question. Any others on that? Did you have one, Alina, or no?
I don't have a question.
Okay. You're a little far away from the microphone, so it's hard to hear you. Maybe you can you might be able to turn your microphone up a little bit, but go ahead again.
Do the
Hold on. Somebody is doing something near their microphone, near their thing, and it's keep making a big scratching sound, and so I can't hear other students. So try not to do anything with paper or anything like that right next to the microphone. So go ahead again, Lena. I couldn't hear you.
I didn't do the language.
I still couldn't understand you.
I didn't do the language.
You didn't do the language? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, still, yeah. Somebody has their pencil or paper or something right next to the microphone. So you've got to move it away from there because it's making a scratching sound. I can't hear other people, so try to move it away from there and make the noise that's being made there. So, one more time, Alina. Sorry.
I didn't do the language assignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as I said earlier, we'll let it go this time because I wasn't able to get the video out quickly yesterday. But try to remember to keep up with it this for today. You can just write the answers in then, okay? All right. So now on the next page, 144. All right. As I was talking about yesterday, we had gone through one or two of these, I think. You need to, this is going to be on the test. You're going to have something like this on the test. So you're going to need to know how to do this, okay? You're going to need to know how to make these singular possessive, how to make it plural, and how to make it plural possessive, all right? Sometimes it's hard if you try to just go from left to right and just do it. And instead of doing that, just try to do all the singular possessive first, because that's the easiest one. Because for singular possessive, Sophia, what do you do for singular possessive?
You just add an apostrophe s.
Yeah, so on all of those, you just add an apostrophe s. And so on every single singular possessive there from number 2 through 10, you should have that word and then apostrophe s. All right, and so check that to see if that's the case. If it's not, just put a little X there to remind you that to pay attention to that. So doing that kind of helps you when you're doing these column type of things because you're doing the same thing to every one on that first column. All right. So the next thing then would be to make these things plural. Now that can be a little bit more difficult. For the most part, to make something plural, Nathan, what do you do?
You add es.
Not es usually. So for books, you would BOOKES.
Oh, no apostrophe es.
No, we're just talking about the plural, just the plural, not possessive, just the plural. What do you usually do?
Just add an s.
Yeah, just add an s. Usually that's what you do. Now, not all the time, because you don't say mouses. Hey, there's a mouse, and now I see 3 mouses over there. What is the plural for mouse? Mice. And so, yeah, for mice. So first one, ANNS for ands. There are 3 ands in the class. Mice for the second, for number 3, MICE. For number 4, BOOKS. Number 5, BOYS. Now, number 6 is one that you don't make plural by adding an S to it. It's not WOMANS. That would be woman's, but it's women, WOMEN. Just like men, man becomes men, woman becomes women. And so it's MEN. Then sheep, the plural of sheep is, everybody? Sheep, same thing. Yeah, there's no S on it. You don't say sheeps. It's just SHEEP. All right, and then here's another one that follows the pattern of woman. Fireman becomes what, Spock?
Fireman.
Spell it for me.
FIREMAN apostrophe S.
No, we're not doing the possessive. We're only doing the plural. Plural, when you're just doing singular plural, there aren't no apostrophes in them at all. So for just the plural for fireman.
FIREMANES.
Okay, nope, you don't say firemans. Okay, David.
Firemen's.
David, how about you?
Firemen.
Firemen, because just like man becomes men, fireman becomes firemen when there's more than one. Okay, student is students, students, and then horses is horses for horses. Now, the plural possessive. So remember the rule for the plural possessive. Okay, so pay close attention to what I'm saying and think about it. So anytime, you already know what the plural is now in the plural column, right? Everybody sees the plural column. If it ends in an S, then all you do is write the same exact thing and then add an apostrophe to the end. So and, there are 3 ands. You have an and then and. So that's your plural right there. Okay, everybody can see that on the board? That's the plural right there. So when it's plural and it ends in an S, you just add an apostrophe to it. So that's what you would write over for ands. So ANNS apostrophe for the plural possessive. Okay? Now, for the next one, though, whenever it doesn't end in an S, like mice, talking about the mice's home, let's say, mice is plural, okay? When it doesn't end in an S, then you have to add an apostrophe S to it. So it's the mice's home, all those mice that live in that home, okay? Or in that hole, or in that cheese, or your bed, underneath your pillow, something like that, you know? Yeah, I know some of you are going to have dreams about it tonight, right? All these mice running around your pillow. You're going to feel something crawl across your neck as you're sleeping, and you're going to think it's a mouse. It might be a mouse. Okay. I see Alina's already scrunching up her neck. She says, I'm going to wear a scarf tonight. All right. And then, so then for that, then, Ella, then what would books be? How would you do books?
Apostrophe S.
Okay, if books is plural, B-O-O-K-S, and ends in an S, and it already ends in an S, you don't add apostrophe S for the plural possessive. You just add an apostrophe for it. So it's B-O-O-K-S apostrophe. Okay, Tejas, for boys, what would the plural possessive for boys be?
BOIS apostrophe.
Yeah, because it ends in an S, it's plural. Then it's just an apostrophe at the end. Remember, that's for plural, not for singular, but for plural. Okay. So what about women, Elijah?
WOMENS apostrophe.
Not S apostrophe, because remember, women is already the plural, WOMEN. So that's your plural. It's apostrophe S. So you always add an apostrophe S if it doesn't end in an S. Any word, when you make it plural possessive, if it doesn't end in an S, when it's plural, you put apostrophe S afterward. So it should be WOMEN apostrophe S. Okay, Sophia, how about sheep?
SHEEPS.
Okay, but it's got to show possessive. You have to have an apostrophe to show possessive. So. Okay, so like mice. See, look up here again. So mice has no S on the end, right? Okay, so mice has no S. So you add, when it's plural, you add apostrophe S. Okay, anytime it's plural and it doesn't have an S on the end, you have to add an apostrophe F. If it has an S on the end, then you just add an apostrophe when it's plural possessive. Plural meaning there's more than one. Okay, that's different than singular possessive. Singular possessive, always apostrophe S. Okay, so when you see a chart like this, it's always apostrophe S. And by the way, if you want to go back and figure out, if you go back to 141 on your book, go back to 141, that rule there that we're talking about is apostrophe rule number 3. Okay, apostrophe rule number 3 is all about the possessive. And so the assignment I'm going to give you, that you will be getting, you're going to have to do that for points, and so you'll need to know exactly what you're doing. All right, so what about firemen? Let's try Elizabeth again. Elizabeth. So firemen, go ahead and spell the possessive, plural possessive for firemen.
FIREMEN apostrophe S.
Very good. FIREMEN apostrophe S. And because it's plural, it doesn't end in an S, so you put apostrophe S at the end. Okay. What about students, David?
students apostrophe.
Very good. Got it now. Okay. Students, it ends in an S, so you only add an apostrophe for the plural possessive. And then horses is HORSES apostrophe. Okay. Now, hopefully that's getting a little bit clearer for you. I know it's hard when you first, if you just know the rule and you just follow the rule, then you're probably going to be fine for it. All right. So for thinky, so mark these in if you didn't get them from yesterday. Thinky number one is you have an apostrophe and wasn't between the N and the T, and an apostrophe and Molly's between the Y and the S. Now all these are apostrophes, so I'm not going to tell you what it is that you put in there because you know it's an apostrophe. So in Rebecca's between the H and the S on number 2. On number 3, I better put my glasses on, it's hard to see. On number 3, an apostrophe between the N and the T in can't, between the N and the T in won't, and between the R and the S in mothers. Number 4, between the R and the S in butlers. That's on that first butlers there. That's the only butlers. And then between the N and the T in didn't. Also on the second line of number 4, between the H and the S of pharaohs. All right. Then number 5, between the N and the T of haven't. And then also between the Y and the S of McCarthy's. All right, because it's his grocery store, Mr. McCarthy's grocery store. Number 6, between the N and the T of wasn't. Number 7, between the H and the S of Ruth, and between the N and the T of didn't. Number 8, between the N and the T of wasn't, and between the D and the S of David's. You know, somebody's trying to... Hold on one moment. Hey, buds, I'm in the middle of my class.
Beep, bop, beep,
But,
beep, bop, body, daddy.
okay, and then on number 9, between the L and the S of wills, and between the N and the T of wasn't, and between the T and the S of its. That it is, whenever you see the apostrophe there, it means it is. So it is Friday makes sense there. And then on number 10, this follows rule number 2 a little bit, also rule 3, but aren't, A-R-E-N apostrophe T, then between the C and the S of the C's, between the M and the S of M, between the M and the S of M's, and between the O and the S of O's, talking about in the word accommodate. Whenever you're saying it has this in this word, most likely it's talking about the individual letters. And you got to notice, look on that number 10. Everybody look on number 10. And you see how the C is italicized on the C and then the S is not? That's because they're trying to distinguish it so that you know it's not an actual word. What words could you be, if you're saying, well, think about it. If you say, I have this many A's in this word, A-S also spells as, doesn't it? Okay? So because it spells as, what they do is they italicize the first letter so that you know it's not saying as, it's saying A's. And the same thing with I's for is, because is could be a word as well. So you've got to make sure that you're listening to that part. And I guess use also, us. It could be us. All right. So on page 145 now. So pay attention, okay? Now, you're going to identify whether or not these are singular, plural, or singular possessive or plural possessive using those initials in each of those blanks. So let's try to do a few of these here first. Ella, we'll let you start. What about the first one? Yeah, she can connect to you. I don't know. Hey, Ella. Mrs. Jones is here in my classroom. She's wondering why they can't get a hold of Michael.
He might be sleeping.
I can't understand you. Can you speak up a little bit?
He might be sleeping.
He might be sleeping.
Oh, he's going to miss his 10 o'clock class?
He's going to miss his 10 o'clock class, she said. Andre's not in this class. No, he's in the other one later.
I can go call him.
But I have, if you want me to text him.
All right, somebody do
That's right. Yeah, actually, I have Juliana's there. Oh, so try Andres. All right. So, well, hi, Angelica. Okay. Now I can see your face. Did you disappear for a little bit?
No, I just didn't have my camera on.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So back to Ella. So Ella, for number 1, what is that? Is that singular, plural, singular possessive, or plural possessive?
Singular possessive.
Very good. Singular possessive. Now, the way you can tell the difference on these is if it has an apostrophe in it, you know it's possessive. Okay? So on this type of exercise, when it has an apostrophe, it has to be a possessive. So you only have 2 choices. Then you decide by that word in front whether it's singular or plural, and then you're all set. Now, what about number 2? Angelica, I'll go ahead and have you do that one.
Singular.
It is singular, right? One boss, and there's no possessive, so because there's no apostrophe there. Now there is one exception on this, and it's number 3. So, Schlock, for number 3, would that one be? I'm not speaking loud enough that I. Schlock? Hello, Schlock.
Mr. Jungle, put his microphone's off.
His microphone is off?
Yeah.
Oh, you need to turn your microphone on, Schlock.
All right. So just do this page. Once you are done with this page, you want to take this page and put it
You got to speak up.
tabs that you have.
Schlock.
Do not
Fuck.
page 1.
Mr. Jones's microphone is off. still.
Schlock, you got to turn your microphone on. This one, just move your mouse. It should be right in the middle there.
Go ahead and pause it.
Okay, try it again. Turn it on. Okay, there you go. Schlock?
Message him or something.
You didn't turn.
Okay, Schlock, can you hear me now? So, Schlock, what's the answer for number 3? I still can't hear you. You've got to, yeah, do you have your whiteboard with you? Maybe you can use that and show me. Okay. Okay, Schlock, we'll just go on to somebody else. All right, Sophia. What's that?
Schlock needs help.
He needs
Message
help?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably
Doesn't
message
know how to
him.
turn the mic. So go ahead. Anyway, Sophia, what'd you get for number 3?
Plural possessive.
Okay. Now remember, I said that there, whenever there's an apostrophe, it's going to be possessive. Sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't lie to you. I really thought that was true, but I forgot that you have these where it's talking about like T's, T apostrophe S. So it's saying how many T's do we have? So that's actually not possessive. It's not possessive to the T. It's actually plural. So that those, when you have the letters with an apostrophe S, that means it's going to be plural. Okay, so that one's going to be plural. All right. So we'll let you guys finish those up. Now think G. This is, remember what we did earlier today where I said go down the singular possessive, do all those with apostrophe S first, then do the plural of each of those words. And then if the word in the plural ends in a S, you just add an apostrophe. It doesn't end in an S, then you add apostrophe S. Well, this is going to be for points. Elijah, you paying attention? Got it? You hear what I said?
Yes.
Okay, you can always go back and look at it too. But it's going to be points for page 145, okay? Now go to page 146. This is your last page of your assignment today. reviewing commas and apostrophes. And so they're going to give you a little practice. This is not for points, but you need to go ahead and do it. And I will tell you that you're going to follow the pattern of what we did earlier as far as commas. And if you go back and look at that letter that we already did as far as commas in there, I think there was one in there already. The letters, if I remember correctly. Yeah, on page 139, there was a sample card, and that will help you to be able to figure out what to do. So you'll put commas in where necessary and apostrophes where necessary for page 146. All right, so any questions then altogether here? Yes, Lena. Your microphone's off, Alina. I can't hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Page 140, for page 145, is the whole page for points?
Just the bottom part. Just think G. Oh, and letter H, right H, you don't need to do right H. Okay? Everybody see that? On 145, you do not need to do right H.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Then we should be able to, I think that's it as far as I can tell. All right. No other questions? And that's it for today because we don't have anything else to do. And don't forget to take that math test and then send me a text picture of it so that I can get you your grade and then you can correct it if you need to. All right. Yes, Sophia, I see your hand. Go ahead. But your microphone is on mute, Sophia.
For number 145, is it for grades?
Yes, for Think G is. Just Think G.
Oh.
Okay.
And for a math test, does my mom have to take a picture and then I send it to you?
After you take the test, yeah.
Oh.
So whenever you take it, just go ahead and send it to me on text. It's fine. Okay, Alina?
I don't understand what to do for the math test.
The math test, you take the math test like you would normally take the math test. And then you just send me a picture of the front and back side of your answer sheet through a text. If you can take a picture of it and then as long as I can see the whole page, it should be fine. And I can then grade it, and then I will send you back which numbers you missed and which ones were half off. Then later on, you can correct it, okay? And then when you correct it, you'll have the opportunity to get points back, half the points of what you would usually get, okay?
When do we need it?
Why do you need to take it?
No. When do we need it?
Well, sometime today.
So
Somebody is
after
trying to type me. Hold on a second.
Mice.
Hello? Hello? Who is this? Hold on, let me see. Yuri! You just missed the class. So that's I thought you said your name was Tatiana Drab. I saw this one. This is live, whatever. I'm going to add you to the class, but we just finished this. You have to watch it online when I load it up, okay? All right. So when I add it, that means your sister should be able to get on this afternoon. Okay? All right. All right. So we're asking a question here. Somebody's asking, but it's going to be recorded on the thing. So, all right. So what was that question again, Alina? Or you already finished? Did I already finish answering it?
No. This is just your glitching.
What's that?
You're glitching.
You're frozen. No, you're not. You're like on my screen.
I can hear you.
Good.
All right.
Mr. Jones.
David's having a fit of some kind. All right, Yuri, then I'll get to hold of you later. All right, go ahead. Yes, Alina.
So we take it today and then send you the front and back picture for test or answer.
Right, of the answer sheet that you have. Because I have the original test here. Yeah, take the front and back and send me a picture of both. And then I can make... What's that?
Which test though?
The only test you have in there, which is called the math test, which is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have another test. No, you have quizzes, but you don't have another test. Just the math test. Well, I guess you have the. I guess you have the other thing in there.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
will we have to come back next week to get like our
When
things?
Pastor Fricks, well, when Pastor Fricks, because you haven't. Hey, everybody, pay attention. Stop talking. Okay, so Pastor Fricks is trying to figure out what we're going to do as far as getting papers back and forth. And as soon as he figures out what we're allowed to do because of the at-home orders that the governor put out yesterday, the stay-at-home orders, we'll let you know what's going to happen and how things are going to happen. Either you're going to be able to drive here to just drop them off and we'll give you the other papers, or we're going to drop them off at your house, one way or the other. And then at that time, we would pick up papers from you. Okay? All right. Yes, Alina.
I don't have the math test.
You sure it's not in there?
The yellow thing.
It's not in there.
No.
Pull out all the papers. We'll pull them all out. Because I know I made enough copies for everybody, and I gave them all out, so I don't have any extras. Do you have a math test answer sheet?
Yes, I do have math and answer sheet.
But no test? You sure? Keep looking through.
Mr. Jones, I don't have the answer sheet.
Who said they don't have the answer sheet?
Me, Nathan.
Who's me?
Nathan.
Oh, okay, just use a regular math sheet
Yeah.
because I had an extra one in there anyway.
That's what I want.
All right, then, Alina, what I'll do, I know, I'll take a picture of the test and then I'll send it to you.
So do
You
I
can just-
write it on the answer sheet?
I couldn't hear you. You got to
Then
get
do I-
closer. You're too far.
Do I write the answers on the answer sheet then from the picture
Yes.
that you're sending me?
Yeah, let's write the answer in the answer sheet then. Okay. All right, so any other questions then? All right. Well, I'll hang up this call. I'll stop the recording. And then if you want to look at it again later, you can. You have a question, Tejas?
Yeah, I don't even have an answered sheet.
Just use a regular math sheet then if you don't have an answer sheet.
Mhm.
Because I put an extra math sheet in there, so you should be good. Okay. Any other questions? Ella, you might want to let your mom know that Mrs. Jones has a class for your brother scheduled at 10 o'clock every day. He needs to be there for the class because it's Spanish and he's supposed to be participating in that. I'm not sure why he didn't today, but well, you said he might be sleeping, but you might want to let your mom know that so that he can get there. Is that Matthew next to you? I can't hear you because your microphone's off again, but
That's Inessa.
oh, it's been Inessa. Okay. I know Inessa, Mrs. Jones will be calling you too, so later on.
Yeah.
All right. So any other questions? All right. Well, you guys have all your assignments there in your book. You know what your language assignment, make sure you write it in your syllabus, the language assignment 145 and 146. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good day, guys. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Tate,
Alina,
Yeah.
Alina,
are you gonna play today?
No.
You're not gonna
Alina.
play? I'm sleepy.